Welcome to cable tracking presentation. In this video I'll show you how we are doing splicing. In order to do the splicing, actually we have to put them on the same reel after we splice it. So we have here two cable on the same reel and winding number 1, which is inner cable, and upper cable. So I want to splice these two cable together. So I'll double click here. I have a button here, splicing. Then I have to fill some information, the date when the splicing was done. Actually I can change it if needed, but actually should update on the same date. Let's say we are splicing it with L222. Well, of course we're not splicing without any purpose. We should have design first, and then only we do some splicing special for that some particular design. So employer who did it, hyphen did it. We have to put some comments here if needed, and then we have here automatically filled quantity for materials, and here sleeves. I purposely leave them blank so that the person not like ignore and keep the same one even he used different one. Then we have here information about second winding. Actually this was the first winding, like on the same reel, and this is automatically it found the second winding. It doesn't matter if the first one on the first row and second one on the 100th row, so it will find automatically. So I'll press proceed. So the splicing is done. How do we know that splicing is done? Because of this record. Actually this column is splicing. I'll tell you what number 1 and number 2 represents. Number 1, it is splicing ID. This is splicing ID, and even after a very long period I can tell you who did it, when did it, and whatever command was put, and which splicing materials was used, and so on. With this 0. And then number 2 represents to which winding it was spliced. So number 2 spliced with number 1, sorry, spliced with number 2. So the splicing is done. Let me show you what automatically was done without our information. So splicing, we have here splicing ID. So the next one would be number 2, number 3, and so on. The splicing date, cable to cable, because we spliced cable to cable. We have an option to splice cable with Emily as well, and this is a reference for which, well, actually we are splicing, we're doing splicing, and the person who did it and whatever command we put it. I will show you another information which was done automatically. Used consumables. Here you can see actually the same serial ID number and the date and which splicing materials was used. So one more thing, cable, then used quantity on hand consumables. Here when we're giving to technician some particular quantity, let's say enough for 1 day, then we can control. For example, this one was 12 in the beginning. The sleeves I put 12, and here all other items were 10, so it's subtracted now. So let's do one more splicing, and it would be obvious for you how it works. So here now number 1 spliced with number 2. Number 2 I want to splice with Emily. I'll double click here, splicing, and now you can see that you don't have option to splice it with another cable because there are no more cables on the same reel. So let's go with L222. Who did it? Hytham did it again. Some comments, and which, okay, let's say I'm happy with all quantities here. Emily, serial number. The splicing is done. How do I know that number 2 spliced with Emily? This number 2 represents ID number, splicing ID number, and this Emily represents with what this winding was spliced. So this is the serial number for Emily, and again if we go back to cable splicing, we have ID number 2, cable to Emily, like all details. I'm supposed to show you consumables used. You can see that we used more consumables, and you can see that the remaining consumables on hand with the technician is also less. So you remember it was 9 sleeves, now it's 6, and here also it's subtracted. And next time when he comes to ask me, I know how many quantity he has on hand, and based on that I will give remaining quantity. That's how we do splicing.